Hello, YouTube. So today I am starting Subnautica. As you can see, I already have a save file going. This is going to be a full playthrough, but I am also going to work on getting a second set of videos based off it, where I do more of a story-based experience, where it's more just the dialogue and any cutscenes, because there is a bit of a story to it. For those not familiar with Subnautica is often considered compared to Minecraft on an ocean planet. So there are several game modes. You do have a creative mode, just like you do in everything else. Um, I was considering doing a hardcore for this, but to be safe, I figured for this we should probably do a survival. So this is going to take quite a few minutes to start up, um, because I am playing this on a Xbox One. Now, if you want to see a absolutely beautiful version of Subnautica, you probably are going to have to go to a different channel, preferably one played on a higher end gaming PC. So this isn't going to be the most impressive version of Subnautica you'll ever see. There will be textures loading in late, things popping in late. One of the scarier moments I've had in playing Subnautica actually was because something popped in right in front of my face at the last possible moment. So it's not going to be anything too visually spectacular, at least compared to what you might see somewhere else on um, the internet. Now, I have noticed that when mine loads, it does tend to stick at loading 40% for quite a while. The last thing I believe it loads is entity cells, and then it jumps up. This is my first time streaming while playing, so I do not know if that's going to affect loading, but I do know that it seemed like the longer I played and the more base building I did, the longer it took to load, up to the point where it did at one point take probably 6 minutes to load my game at one point. Um, Overall, though, I do have to say Subnautica is probably one of the best games I've played in years. I'm actually really looking forward to the full release of Subnautica Below Zero. I don't know if it's supposed to be expansion or a full blown sequel, but they added basically a polar ice cap to the game, and I think it just looks amazing from what little I've seen of it. It is an early access, but I don't have a nice enough computer to play a game like Subnautica on my laptop yet. Maybe someday, not at the moment. All right, so I'm gonna be quiet for a bit.
Attention. Hull failure imminent. All personnel abandon ship. Launch in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so starting out. Wait just a minute longer. Sorry. All right, so starting out, all we officially know is that our ship has exploded, and our life pod. I'm so used to playing with Bug. Anymore. She has her controls reversed compared to how I like to play.
You have suffered minor head trauma. This is considered an optimal outcome. This PDA has now rebooted in emergency mode with one directive: to keep you alive on an alien world. Please refer to the databank for detailed survival advice. Good luck.
All right, so as I was saying, so we've crash landed in Subnautica. All we know at the moment is that our ship, which I know to be named the Aurora, has crash landed. So one of the quick little tips for the beginning of the game is it is a lot easier to go in and out of the bottom of your escape pod. So you want to make sure that you unlock it. All right, so starting out, I can hold my breath for 45 seconds. So basically, what the point is at the moment is going to be is I'm looking for titanium and things I can turn into titanium, as well as some coral. I am going to need some acid mushrooms, so I'm going to grab 4 of those for now. That's probably a good start. They're not exactly hard to find. Now, all of this is pretty well easy to see, so I'm going to go up and get breath real quick. All right, now I'll go more into the life forms and stuff on the planet later.
Copper is an essential component of all powered equipment. Your probability of survival has just increased to unlikely, but plausible.
All right, so I also just picked up some metal salvage. Metal salvage can be turned into 4 titanium. So titanium is going to be a big part of the entire game, actually. Hello, Crashfish. All right, so also seeing some quartz. Need to get some oxygen, though. Probably closer from here. All right, now I am going to start blacking out before I actually officially die. Hopefully I don't die already. That'd be embarrassing. Oh, there we go. Got my breath. So one of the first things we're going to build is an oxygen tank. Not the best oxygen tank, but it's going to be a noticeable improvement over what I've got. So I'm going to try and be doing a lot of this at the beginning pretty quickly. No reason not to drag it all out. There supposedly is I don't know if it's a full different ending or what, but there is a extra that supposedly if you basically speed run the game. Alright, so our life pod is automatically going to have a beacon on it. The life pod is the center of our world at the moment. Unless you turn it off, the life pod will be there the whole game. I think it's kind of creepy that when you pick up fish and you have nothing in your quick slot, it goes in your thing.
Utilizing alien resources is a proven survival strategy.
Probably shouldn't have been talking through that, but most of the dialogue you can replay, so I'll replay that here in a minute. Alright, that should be pretty good source of food and water. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to get up on our life pod at the moment. Because if I didn't go out the bottom, this would be the first thing we see. So we are on an ocean planet. Literally the only thing we can see, except for what might be a piece of table coral sticking up out right there in the center, is our spaceship, the Aurora, on fire, and we don't know this yet, but it is leaking radiation like crazy, and I probably should have just gone in through the top. Alright, so turn metal salvage into titanium. I don't necessarily need glass yet, and I'm going to build a standard OT tank. So now I now go for 75 seconds, and I have the ultra high capacity, so I can also make a battery, which will give me the blueprint for the power cell. Also let me build a scanner.
The scanner can be used to synthesize blueprints from salvage technology and to record alien biological data.
Alright, so the scanner is actually one of the most important things in the game. So now I can cook bladderfish, one of those weird purple fish that you saw me pick up. However, at this point in the game, that is entirely a waste because you can actually use the bladderfish to create water. It's kind of a silly, almost creepy thing if you think about the explanation for it. Because you're basically using the membranes of the fish to filter water for you. But hey, I mean, it's water, and I need water at the moment. Also need food. So we're going to cook this peeper, which is basically a giant eyeball thing.
The fabricator cooks small organisms while disposing of the skeletal structure, bodily fluids, and internal organs, thus rendering them safe for human consumption.
Alright, and while I got a moment, I'm going to get in here. I am going to see about replaying a couple things. Alright, so why is it not playing?
Copper. Copper is an essential component of all powered equipment. Your probability of survival has just increased to unlikely. The Aurora suffered orbital hull failure. Cause unknown. 0 human life signs detected. Alien life forms may have unexpected applications. Utilizing alien resources is a proven survival strategy. The scanner can be used to synthesize blueprints from salvage technology and to record alien biological data. The fabricator cooks small organisms while disposing of the skeletal structure, bodily fluids, and internal organs, thus rendering them safe for human consumption.
Alright, sorry about that. Let's respond to the text message real quick. So I did pick up a med kit from our fabricator. So one of the things that you will seen if you haven't played the game and you're paying attention is that I was blown up by a couple crash fish. Now there is a fairly good way to get around the crash fish. I was more worried about oxygen than them hurting me at the moment, which is kind of going to be a running theme at times because the crash fish itself, as long as you're swimming, cannot hurt you. Enough to kill you as long as you're relatively full up on health. Alright, so now that I got my scanner, I can start scanning things. So, like the table coral here, and it's going to put everything in a data bank form with its own personal log entry. So, acid mushrooms, writhing reeds, table coral. I've not read every single entry. I'm kind of impressed if somebody would. I am probably going to read a lot of them, especially if Bug wants me to. But so for now, go ahead and worry about just scanning everything we can. So main nettle, bladderfish, rabbit ray, sure, why not? I think there's ways to scan. If you're ever having trouble scanning things, a lot of the stuff in the game can eventually be hatched in a aquarium, and therefore you can use that to scan them. Alright. Now, a little bit about where I am. I am in a biome called the Safe Shallows. So in the Safe Shallows, there are things that can hurt me. For example, the crash fish. They're considered more in caves, though. So just swimming around on the surface, unless I swim too close to a cave entrance, I should be good to not worry too much about crash fish. These gasopods can hurt you. They freak Bug out a little bit because they kind of make it sound like they're like a weird, creepy laugh, kind of. But you'll see that when I got close, they dropped some of these yellow pods that then burst into like a gas of some sort. I guess it's actually supposed to be more of an acid because it is underwater. So there are plenty of uses to a lot of what I'm in and around, but the Safe Shallows is one of the safest parts of the game. It is surrounded largely by a couple different things. You do have the kelp forest, of which there are a couple things that can hurt you, but they are also necessary for the game for you to go in there at least a few times. Um, there's something called a stalker in there. They usually hang out towards the bottom. They do like metal. Um, and in the caves, there are a particular kind of jellyfish. So that's they're real easy to get around. They're stationary. I think they're called hanging stingers. I might have the exact name wrong. But we're in the middle of the beginning of the game, so we're again looking for primarily titanium, copper. Oh, hello, Mr. Stalker. So yeah, so there he just picked up some salvage. He's going to move it around. Lord, I feel slow. Come back. I'm trying to scan you. Hello, Creepvine. I'll scan you. Alright. Now, one of the more annoying things about scanning things is it seems to make a difference if you're pointing at the same one the entire time. So, like, I can pick this
Life
one
on
up.
this planet grows in unusually distinct and diverse ecological biomes. Further study recommended.
Alright.
Oxygen.
Alright. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh, kelp forest. So one of the first things I'm going to need to get now that I got a little bit of a better oxygen tank and I've got some, I got my scanner, is I'm going to need some of these creepvine seeds. Creepvine seeds are useful for making a couple different things. Primarily silicon rubber, if I remember correctly, and lubricant. So some of the things in the game that are most important need lubricant. Also, I'm going to need to come back at some point. I'm going to need, after I make a knife, I'm going to have to cut up a creepvine. But at the moment, so the beginning of Subnautica is predominantly you want to focus on being able to breathe longer and swim faster. So we're going to be looking for ways to do that. So this should be able to get me my fins, which will increase my swim speed. So yeah, silicon rubber, you get 2 for 1 seed cluster. And there are a couple uses for that. And then we can go ahead and turn the rest of them into lubricant because we'll use the lubricant sooner or later anyway.
Lubricant is essential in construction of vehicles.
And there you go, essential in vehicles and power plants. Thank you, game, for making it pretty clear what I need. All right, so next thing I'm going to need to worry about is my knife, so I can cut things, clearly. You actually cannot beat the game without the knife. Of some form, because you do have to actually cut stuff at some point. So here I'll get my fins.
The fabricator draws from available data to provide environment-appropriate equipment using locally available materials. For your safety, this setting cannot be overridden. Weapons were removed from standard survival blueprints following the massacre on Abraxas Prime. The knife remains the only exception.
Alright, drink some water. Bed kit fabricator's not done yet. Alright, so I know that I need some cave sulfur. So, I was talking about what surrounded the safe shallows. So the other things that might surround the safe shallows, depending on where you are at,
detecting increased local radiation levels. Trend is consistent with damage to the Aurora's drive core, sustained during planet fall.
Alright, so I'm a little turned around because one of the things about Subnautica is overall the map is fixed. Hello, Mr. Crashfish. Now I got caught on something, but there's actually a real easy trick to getting around Crashfish. So getting around Crashfish is simple. All you have to, if you know, at least as long as you know where they are. So what you do is you see where it's coming. Once it gets up to speed, you just get out of the way. Because it cannot stop and turn around fast enough to actually catch you.
detecting sulfur deposits in the local cave systems. Sulfur is an essential component of the
Yep, so that is actually perfect for what we're trying to do. So the explanation, it's telling me that the sulfur is important for the repair tool, which I already knew, and it actually was the main reason I came down here, was to get the sulfur for the repair tool. So
oxygen.
I'm not going to be able to play too much longer tonight. But I feel like this has been a good test of the streaming capabilities of the Xbox One while playing Subnautica. I think this is going to work pretty well. So I will continue to make these videos. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm going to try and be quick, but I'm also not exactly, capable of doing a full speed run like some people do. There are some absolutely crazy things. People learn this map much better than me, and they know glitches that they can exploit, so I'm not terribly worried about that. So let's see if I can find some fragments real quick. There's a couple different fish I haven't scanned yet. Hello, hoverfish.
30 seconds.
And I saw a hoop fish, but I'm not gonna stick around Mr. Stalker longer than I need to. Alright, so at the moment, most of the fragments that I am going to be looking for are going to be predominantly in boxes. So there will be these boxes that supposedly came from the Aurora, hanging out. They're usually kind of a grayish color, pretty easy to see from a distance. And if you're lucky, on the inside will be a fragment of something. At this point, we are looking primarily for laser cutters, sea glides, and other small fragments, some of which are 100% available here. So there's a creature egg. Not too interested in creature eggs. Oh, there's the box I was just talking about. Is someone chasing me? No. Okay, mobile vehicle bay fragment. Also very important. Mobile vehicle bay is where we will build any of our subs, our prawn suit, and also our escape rocket eventually. So another thing we absolutely cannot beat the game without. And it is kind of interesting how many things you can't beat the game without are available this early in the game. It really goes to show just how much everything in the game is kind of connected. So I see right there a crash fish. Also heard another one. Something called a hole fish. There are lots of little prey fish. I'm going to try and scan a crash. Oh, nope. That was probably a bad idea. Ow. Alright. Well, they're probably good now, but I'm going to go in here anyway. I'm at least going to pick up your sulfur because up yours, guy. Okay. I don't have enough to take another crash fish. That's what I get for thinking I can scan them, and I didn't even get a single percent because it didn't seem to want to read it. Alright, so we're going to head back to Mr. Life Pod. And this may not be the best place to try and get them, but you can try and scan these sky rays too. Alright, sky ray scan. Kind of glitched there from the looks of it. It looked like it was just kind of perched on land, in the sky. It's kind of funny in a way, but hey, what you gonna do? Alright, and oh, I think I need 2 samples. Shoot. Alright. And we got salt, so now we're going to learn that we can cure stuff, make it last longer. And so we can now also build a Pathfinder tool. Pathfinder tools are kind of neat and useful, but they are also not exactly the required to beat the game. Oops. So I am going to build a flashlight, extremely helpful. I need my rubber, and I can get my repair tool. Hello, Mr. Rubber. Oh, and there are a couple good things of water and food in here. Don't want to waste batteries because I can't charge them yet. So, repair tool, silicon rubber, K silver, titanium. Bam. A little closer to beating the game. Alright, so that we can build. Habitat builder is going to be pretty important at some point, especially if I'm going to do any base building. I never used flares. I never used the air bladder. Because Pathfinder tools, nice, but not necessary. And then for under equipment, we are going to want the high capacity O2 tank. So I'm going to need some silver ore, which I know several places I can get it, but we can work on that. So I am going to need some more fire extinguishers at one point. Never did anything with the floating air pump and the pipe either. So for the deployables, Sea Glide, that's going to be my jam. That's one of the first things I personally want to build. All right. Get my heal on. All right. Now, since I messed up, oh, you know what? I'm going to fix this first.
LifePod secondary systems online. Running full environment diagnostic and outputting results to data bank.
So it's going to give me some extra information.
This is Aurora. Distress signal received. Rescue operation will be dispatched to your location in 9 hours. Continue to monitor for emergency transmissions from
So
other
essentially,
pods.
we aren't getting rescued. So there's some important information. So now that it's online, we can see that we are on an uncharted ocean planet. It is an oxygen, nitrogen atmosphere, kind of like Earth. Here we go, though. Waterborne bacteria levels high. So we can actually do a self-scan.
Self-scan complete. Vital signs.
And that's going to be extremely important to the overall story of the game, is the bacteria on this planet. Got my extra creep vine. Oh, I already forgot what I was trying to make with it, though. Fiber mesh. What am I making with fiber mesh? Wasn't that? I don't think I've ever seen my life pod shake like that. I do remember one of the things I was going to say, though. So you always start in the safe shallows, you just don't always start in the same part of the safe shallows. So that's going to be an important distinction as we go forward through the game. So this food and these extra better waters are nice, but they're not so rare or valuable that I can't go and use them. So there's several different places I can go to now for sandstone. Sandstone is how I'm going to get silver. So at the moment, in addition to everything else I've mentioned, trying to find some fragments, also need to start trying to find some sandstone. So what I do with sandstone is I can try and get silver, gold, and lead. Silver and gold are very important in a lot of the computer components that we are going to be building throughout the game. Also, I want my better oxygen tank. So there are some sandstone in the safe shallows and in the kelp forest. I never had the best luck intentionally finding them, but it is possible. So we're going to see what we can find while trying to find some fragments. And if I don't find any, I don't find any, because I know other places to get it. Now, salt has a couple different uses. It can cure food, preserve fish, preserving them for longer. It can also be used to create bleach, which you can then in turn use to create water, because that's how it works in real life. But we are basically using a Star Trek replicator, so I guess we'll forgive that. Alright, looking... I'm not having luck finding things. Alright, well we're gonna go up.
30 seconds.
Ooh, what is that? Oh, that's salvage, I think. Alright. Ooh, that's what I'm looking for. Sandstone. I'm just gonna break that one because I need air. Sadly, we just get lead. Oh, please tell me I can make it.
Oxygen.
I may have swam too deep. Oh, come on. I'm gonna start blacking out. I'm gonna start blacking out. Come on. We can make it. We can make it. We can make it. We can make it. Yes! Made it. Alright. As we go back down, I'm gonna see what's in that box. Yeah, Mr. Stalker, go away. Oh, nope, that's a sand shark. I'm closer to the grassy plateau than I realized, or you're a bit out of your depth, Mr. Sand Shark. And I will probably mess up and call them dune sharks at some point. If I do, oh well, it's not in the world.
30 seconds.
He is definitely not in his sand dune, though, which is kind of weird. There is an egg over there as well, for anyone interested in what eggs look like. And we come over here. Oh shoot, I have a lot less oxygen than I realized I did. This is going to become a bit of a theme, isn't it? Me blacking out as I reach the surface. Alright. Now, I broke open a limestone, lost some copper. Hopefully we can get it. I'm more interested in Mr. Sandstone here. Hello, Mr. Sandstone. Please have a silver.
Silver-based wiring kits are an essential component of many habitat modules.
Alright, so I got my silver. Look around briefly for anything else of interest, because I might as well try and fill up my inventory while I'm here, if I can. Pick up some salt. Another piece, and it is my third mobile vehicle bay fragment.
30 seconds. New blueprint.
Yep, and there's the grassy plateau that I was mentioning, so I think I see a limestone. We're going to break it, get some titanium, and we are going to head back to the life pod, and we are going to call it a video, I think.
Oxygen.
Alright. Now, I do love the moon in Subnautica. I think it is beautiful. I am all turned around without my compass. I cannot wait to get my compass back. Alright, we're going to save my game. There is a bit of a glitch on the Xbox One at the moment that I don't believe it's been fixed yet, where there is a chance that when you go to save your game, it will not work. So never hurts to kind of save once or twice before we call it quits. So we'll save, we'll build a couple things, and then we will work on calling it quits for the video. I did hear that supposedly if you leave it paused, it's more likely to take. So we're just going to wait for it to stop spinning up in the corner. So if you ever are watching and you wonder why, I doubt I'll cut those out. All right, so I need to take my oxygen tank off. All right, and then what do I need? Glass. That's what I was thinking I needed glass for. 1, 2, 3, 4. Glass. Glass. High capacity oxygen tank. Hoorah! Bam. Alright, and I can now go 135 seconds. Not as good as it will eventually get, but enough that I can actually hopefully start making some progress. So, we are going to not get a medical kit because apparently it's not done fabricating yet. I'm doing a poor job of making sure that I'm not slowly dying from actual injuries because I'm careless because I've beaten the game before apparently. Alright, and okay. There we go. Alright. Okay, we're gonna save again. I'm gonna call it quits on the video here as soon as it's done saving. And we are gonna call it a night, and next time I will be on the search for fragments. Alright. Alright. And that's it. Have a good one, YouTube.